Hello, and welcome to the Success by Design weekly masterclass. And this week is episode 10. Before we get started, let me just check I am recording live on LinkedIn, as last week this didn't work. So give me 1 minute. Yes, live on LinkedIn. Amazing. So my name is Abigail Barnes. I am the founder of Success by Design Training. We work with professionals and organizations that want to improve work-life balance as well as increase productivity. And we teach something called holistic productivity. Today's session is all about post-it notes and how to use them to beat the blues. Because I don't know if you knew this, but yesterday was Blue Monday, which is known as being the most depressing, most disappointing day of the year, based on the fact that it is so much time since Christmas, so much time still to go till payday, the weather, the time until we start to see the sunshine, etc., etc. But I don't know about you, I am not going to let a day of the week, month or year affect how I feel about life. And also it may or may not have been a publicity stunt. So there we go. But irrespective of that, blues, however you want to describe it, depression, anxiety, all of these things come up. They come up for us, whatever the time of the year. And I am by no means suggesting that this exercise is a catch-all for everything. It won't work for everybody, but it might work for you if you are in a situation where you suddenly feel feelings coming over you that you can't control, or anxiety coming up. So let's run through an example of how this exercise can actually be used in your life or in your career. So imagine this situation that you are sat at your desk and your boss comes over and says, "Hi, how are you? How would you like to do a presentation next week to 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 of your colleagues?" Of course, you say yes. But what happens if deep down inside of you, this suddenly triggers a whole ton of mind chatter? What if a friend asks you to do a reading at their wedding, or at a family social event, and you have to stand up in front of people, and suddenly all of these feelings come up? So this exercise is an amazing exercise that you can use at any point in time. And all you need are post-it notes and pens. Now, the post-it notes can be blue, they can be pink, they can be yellow, they can be whatever color you want the post-it notes to be, and as can the pens. But you need them to be different colors, because this is what you do. Step number 1. Let's imagine you've got blue post-it notes, maybe a blue pen. You write down the things that come up for you straight away, the first things that go through your head when your boss has asked you, or your friend has asked you, to do this presentation in front of others. And public speaking, incidentally, is known to be the thing that people fear worse than death, which is actually crazy. But I understand. The first time I had to speak, I was nervous as you like, and I had an hour to do I had 60 minutes to do a presentation and training. And my mentor said to me, "Now, Abigail, you've got a book about time management. Of course, you can stand up and talk us through your 5-step process, etc., etc." And I said, "Yes, of course I can. Only to come up there and have this time, see all these sea of faces, and get nerves and anxiety like you wouldn't believe." And I was on and off the stage in 15 minutes. Well, luckily, that was 5 years ago, and I have improved my speaking ability now, so much so that I can stand and do speaking and training for hundreds of people, thousands of people, using this process that I'm going to teach you now. So get your blue post-it notes and your pen, and the first thing that you do is you write down every single thing that comes up in your head, like, I can't do it, I don't know enough, who am I to do it, people will laugh at me, what if I forget everything I'm supposed to say, I don't think I'm the best qualified for this job, I just don't want to do it. So write down all of the negative things that come up for you when you are finding you have to do something new. And let's sort of also do another example. It could be that you've been asked to prepare a report, or you decided, new year, new me, I want to get a new job. But as you're going through the process and you're writing your CV, the voices in your mind might be saying, but I'm not good enough for these. I don't have all 10 of the criteria of the job spec. I can't do it. Other people are better qualified. What if they ask me about my reasons for leaving? What if I don't know enough? What if I don't have that qualification I need? So you literally write all of these things down on Post-it notes. And you stick these Post-it notes either, so you can do this at home, or you can do this sort of in the office when people have left. You stick the Post-it notes either in front of you or on the table. Then you get a different colour set of Post-it notes, maybe pink, and a pink pen, or orange, or if you've only got a hold of yellow, then that's absolutely fine. Use the yellow ones, and a different coloured pen. And then write down all the things that you are proud of, inspired about you. Write down the achievements that you have done. Write down the examples of things where maybe you did a presentation to a group. You know your content inside and out. You are a subject matter expert. You understand that these people are your colleagues and they're not going to be mean to you. And you write down all the positive things that you can come up with, and all of the things that prove that you've done it before. And even write things like, I know I can practice this. You can ask a colleague to stay behind after work one day and go through the presentation with you to practice, because sorry, it's only when we practice these things that we can actually get better. So you've got your two lots of Post-it notes, the ones that are the negative and the ones that are the positive. Now, next step, third step, you go back to the negative list of Post-it notes and you say them out loud. And again, this may be you want to be somewhere where there are not many people around. You say them out loud and you then ask yourself, is this true? Have I got proof that this belief, this chatter, this idea, this negative thought, have I got proof that this is actually true? And what starts to happen is you identify that these thoughts that are naturally coming up, these negative thoughts, are not true. They're not who you are. They're not your capability. They're not what you can do. They're just persistent habit thoughts. And here's an interesting thing, especially when it comes to doing things for the first time. If we haven't actually done it before, we are more likely to have these thoughts. We are more likely to feel like an imposter because we haven't got the proof. Once we've done something and we have the proof, then we can coach ourselves and say to ourselves, I've done it before, I can do it again. So maybe before it was 10 people and now it's 20, but I can do it again. It doesn't matter about the number of people because I am talking about the same content. And practice, 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 doing these things over and over again. That's why Olympic athletes train for 4 years to win a gold medal. They're not winning a gold medal just by turning up. They actually train every single day for 4 years. And if they don't win that gold medal, they go and they train another 4 years to compete again. So we have to get into this practice, into this habit of identifying these beliefs And this is the interesting thing where the beliefs then lead to the blues, okay? A thought creates a feeling. A thought creates a feeling. So we don't have a feeling, I don't feel I can do this. We have a thought, I don't think I can do this. So I don't think I can do this then leads to the feeling of I can't do this, and we know what that feels like. And then our brain is this amazing computer. What we tell it, it believes. So if we say, I don't think I can do it, the brain says, oh, well, let's give her proof that she can't do it. Let's give him proof that they can't do it. So it then looks around for proof that you can't do it, which is where these post-its are amazing, because these are proof you can do it. And here's the interesting thing about the brain. It takes 17 reminders of positivity to counteract one incident of negativity. So if somebody tells you you can't do it, if you tell yourself you can't do it, you need 17 positive things to counteract that. So it is so important that we become aware of what we're telling ourselves, because of this detrimental effect that it can have on our momentum. And if you imagine that we are container ships. So a container ship this is a ship that takes things around the world. It might take oil or gas, it might take items like fruit, vegetables, clothes, all sorts. You know, the great big ships that you see, the giant ships. So depending on the size of these ships, it can take 1 mile for these ships to stop. It can take 1 mile for these ships to turn. It can take 1 mile for these ships to turn around and to get started again once they've stopped. So when it comes to us as individuals, if we keep stopping and starting, and I can do it, I can't do it, with these 17 things, we're like these giant container ships that are toing and froing, and it's taking ages. And once we've got started, then we've stopped, and now we have to turn, and blah, blah, blah. So this exercise is so good for getting this mental chatter out on paper, the positive and the negative. So then step 4, once you've got all of your points, you've said these negative ones out loud, you have proof that they are not true. You throw them in the bin. You literally take it, crumple it up, and throw it in the bin. I used to play basketball at university. I've got quite good at throwing things. I digress. But so you throw all of these in the bin. So all you're left with are the positive reinforcements that you can do it, you will do it, you are capable of doing it, you will practice until you get good at it. This is the season for skiing. This is an interesting story I love to tell, because I was never raised to ski, and I went on my first ski holiday when I was in my 30s. I watched people ski, and I thought, how hard can this be? They make it look so easy, until I got on the snow. And this is, if this has ever been you, if you weren't raised to ski and you came to skiing later in life, then maybe you will identify with this story. Snow is fast. Skis on snow are fast. You learn very fast, and you learn by falling. And then you get back up again, and you fall, and you get back up again, and you fall, and in time you get better. And if you really love skiing, you will spend the time to get better. Now, I am not a massive fan of the cold, so skiing and I are not something that have continued to learn how to improve. Yoga is something that I love, and yoga is something that I am improving and getting better on week in, week out, by practicing the moves and the postures for yoga day in, day out. My strength, my stamina is so much better in yoga than I am as skiing. But those are 2 analogies and examples of practicing things to improve. And they say that if you look at somebody, say think of one of your favorite speakers, maybe a TEDx speaker, or there might be somebody in your industry that you really admire, and you think, how hard can it be? And then you stand up and it's really hard. Just know this: they have practiced for years to make it look effortless. And that's what happens when we get to the stage where we're really good at things. And they call it unconscious competence. So it's really hard to describe this, but there's 4 boxes in this model. And imagine the first time you learned how to drive or to ski, you were unconsciously incompetent, like you had no idea that you were bad. And then you were consciously incompetent. So now you suddenly realize that you're not very good at it. Then you go down and you become consciously competent. So you can do it, but you're still aware of it. And then the final stage is consciously, unconsciously competent. So you are, I can't even remember the model, but you are just a natural at it because you have practiced it so much. And this is the thing in life. I can't remember this model because I haven't looked at it recently enough, but it has been sort of ingrained in me to a degree because we learnt it when I did my marketing degree. But so I hope that this has been a helpful example for you, and you can do it. You don't need to do it with Post-it notes. You can do it with paper as well, and you can write a list, and you can divide the list and write the negative beliefs and the positive beliefs for it. But let's stick with the Post-it notes because this is a really, really good example. And plus the throwing them away into the recycling is a really, really good cathartic way to visually show your mind you are getting that negative belief out and away from you, and your mind then says, oh, so we actually are good at this then. Okay, thank you, I'll give it a go. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's masterclass, and I look forward to seeing you again next week. And next month we will start bringing our guests on who will be sharing their 8-minute activities with you to help you to change your life 8 minutes a day. If that is you and you would like to share something with the audience, then get in touch. If you've got any questions, want to know more about the training that we do, and how you could share it with your organization or work with me or us personally, then drop us a line at successbydesigntraining.com, and the email address is below this session. So below in the comments, so you should be able to find it. Anyway, it's been amazing to spend time with you today, and avoid those blues and try this. And if you do try this exercise, then be sure to let me know, because I'd love to hear what happens for you using it. It is something that I personally still use all the time whenever a negative belief about anything comes up. Because if you imagine, we are like onions. There are layers and layers and layers to us. Every time you peel a layer, and there is another layer. So there are always going to be beliefs. We are never going to escape these beliefs, but we now know how to manage them. So see you again next week. Take care.